Hey guys, if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel and welcome to the very first episode of Naughty Lines. I just want to say before the video starts that I do not have an intro right now. I am still working on it, but at least by the third episode, I should have one here, as well as an outro. And as well, in this recording, the first question asked to Lizzie for at least the first minute and a half, you can't hear her because I didn't have the settings in OBS right because I'm a big dummy. But either way, after that it's nice and clear and you're able to hear it no problem. So thank you for coming. Hope you enjoy the show and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace. Alright, hello and welcome to the very first episode of Naughty Lines, the show where lines are drawn below the belt and sometimes above the belly. Today, I have with me a very special guest, and it is Lizzie. Now, so this is the very first episode, so it's gonna be a little. I'm kind of getting footing here, but yeah, Lizzie's here. We're gonna be asking her some questions about herself, about her views and experience in the art scene as well as the NSFW community. And if any of you want to check out any of her links below her little box there, they'll also be linked in the description below. So, Lizzie, if I could ask you some questions. Alright, so, first question. Who are you, and what do you do?
Studio. So I have some skills in that, canvases, acrylic paint, um, so on and so forth. And at first, it was doing well, but unfortunately, I wasn't getting much. I was trying to get out there, but I didn't get out there as fast as like everyone else did. And of course, I started doing not safe for work art later on as I, of course, grew older. And uh, basically, I just blew up. And so that became a bigger following. But as I always do with a new group of new followers, I always push them to like my other general arts because there's more to me than just, drawing below the belt.
Yeah, yeah. And so with the you were working in a you were or you are working in a art studio.
I am working in an art studio.
Awesome. And if it's okay to say, what do you produce for them?
Oh, our art studio is called Blue Libra Studios, and it's in Chicago. Uh, our main gig is that we do paint parties, and what paint parties are is that we do these things called sip and paints, where you go to bars or like parties, at your house or like an event where we bring canvases, easels, paint for everyone to do in our session of painting like a simple like Paris Tower or flower. But well, the reason why it's called Spit Paints is you can drink liquor at that party. It's fun for everyone. But
Yeah.
it's not only that, but we also just sell canvases. We paint like ceramic, like pots. Our big thing in Chicago is themed skulls, where we paint ceramic skulls, and just we're doing a lot of ideas. Basically, we're throwing it out there this year.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a very nice business. My sister, just throwing this out there, my sister also she owns something of the sort, but it's more of a it's called Coffee and Crafts. It's more of a sit down, have some coffee, have a muffin maybe, and while you're there, you can also paint, draw, do little doodles anywhere on the walls, kind of things. It's pretty neat. But yeah, I think I've been around that kind of atmosphere before, but that's really nice. So you guys go around and do these. You said sip and paints, is that right?
Sip and paints, yeah.
So is there so the whole like making art for a for a profit kind of thing, like you do on Twitter, commissions and such. Uh, that's not what happens at the art studio. This is more of a it's more of a business like where you only do the sip and paints.
At the art studio, we do paint on canvases, which are commissions.
Hmm.
But my boss, well, he doesn't like my boss doesn't like being called boss, but I'm doing it because it's a professional thing. Um, he notices that I do digital artwork, and he thinks he's not very experienced with it because he's more traditional. So he thinks it's a good like benefit for me for the business because he wants to bring me in for doing digital commissions and such. So I might actually be doing that in the future for people like making prints and such.
Okay, that is awesome. Awesome. So I'm glad to see that your boss actually wants to incorporate what you do outside of work into your work so that way you can be even more like you're doing what you love no matter what.
Yeah, and it's funny. He knows that I also do not safe work commissions,
Hmm.
and he fully supports that. And it's funny because it's a funny quote that I still remember. He says, "Well, horny really brings in the business." It's true.
That it does. Yes. And yeah, so for all of you there at home watching this, Lizzie does have, as you see her links. There's LizieDoodle, but then there's also a account named LizieLoodle. And before I go on to the next question, I do want to ask you a couple questions about that.
Of
Uh,
course.
so as your boss so eloquently put it, horny brings in business.
Hmm.
Was that your thought process when coming up with Lizzie Loodle?
No, this was before I even brought it up to him, where like I wanted to make an alt.
Hmm.
And of course, it's it was really dumb of me not to make it so how do I say it? I was not hiding in plain sight, basically. I do want people to still like, oh yeah, it's this person. Or like just think of me as a completely different person drawing these things. It's like I want people to know I could do both. I can do it all. As for Lizzie Loodle, it's a funny story. I was sitting down on a voice call with friends, with a couple of friends, and I was thinking, what am I gonna call this? What am I gonna do? And my friend's like, make a pun. And I was like, Lizzie Doodle, Lizzie Doodle, Lizzie Lood, Lizzie Loodle. And my friend's like, yeah, Lizzie Loodle, so it sounds perfect. I'm like, fuck it, let's go with it. And that's honestly what just came to be. I honestly can't think of anything else I could do with it. I mean, it's a great pun, whether it's plain sighting or not.
So the origin of Lizzie Loodle was a pun.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a pun for Lizzie Doodle, because I seen people when they make it all, they do something silly with it. That's like a
Right.
reference to their main, but it's not.
Okay. And so for your I have the well, I'm about to. I have the Lizzie Loodle actual Twitter pulled up on my phone, and I'm just looking at this, and I'm thinking, like, because you have a very big following on both of your platforms, as when it comes to Lizzie Loodle, Lizzie Doodle. Um,
Oh yeah.
was there any surprise or like were you like, oh my god, when Lizzie Loodle surpassed 30,000?
Um, I was honestly surprised that this year I was just growing in general, but what was more surprising was I was more happy that my safe work started gaining more followers, like past 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, oh my God, I'm like, I'm getting more attention from my safe work because now people are seeing my what I can actually do, you know?
Right, because you don't only want to be known as the as one of the not safe for work artists. You want to be known for
Yeah,
your other stuff.
of course. And it feels good. Like I'm still proud of both accounts, and I plan to keep it that way, keep the flow going.
Okay. All right. And so this leads me on to my next question. First question was, who are you and what do you do? Next question is, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? Um, I remember. Why do I do? That's a good question. It's not. No, it's not really a hard question. Usually I just most of the time, a lot of my followers, of course, everyone knows I always draw myself or Sona or this Lizie character that everyone sees as this like sassy or like cool character. But it's like me because ever since I was like little, I always like draw myself as an OC or like just myself in general because who knows you better than you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I would always do that because I like drawing myself. I like it's fun. And when I think I remember when I was growing up, when I was making these self inserts, like the internet really did not like it. They portrayed them as Mary Sue's, they portrayed them as unoriginal when I see like these like self insert characters. And when I got into Twitter, or like I was actually afraid to put myself out there as a self insert character because I would have people getting pitchforks and fires and like, hey, this character's not original, it's stupid, or Mary Sue. But like then I see other not safe work artists or other artists in general who draw self-insert characters, whether with their like crushes or like wearing fashion or like just whatever, or just draw themselves like those fun self portraits, and it encourages me. It makes me happy. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And I my thing is drawing me, but I also like to draw other things, and it feels good because everyone loves my character, and that's why I keep doing it. That's why I'm doing me.
Right, and I get the whole Mary Sue thing because like I mean it's true back then like I'd want to say like maybe 5 something years ago, or even sooner, something like that. You put yourself into a story, you're bound to get hate for it because like this is supposed to be an original
Yeah.
story, not your story. But I mean, sure,
Well, that
if you sit there and give yourself like every power in the book, and then no matter what any enemy throws at you in any kind of story, and you're just like, huh, I can deflect it with the power of moonbeams. It's not exactly gonna go well with other people.
yeah, and it's just it art in general. It's supposed to be something that makes you happy.
Right? Yeah, yeah, I get that completely. It's like it's honestly everyone out there. Someone if someone's like downing you for what you put on the internet, whether it be a story or art of any kind, ignore it. Like if it's constructive, go ahead. But if it's destructive criticism, like there's no use in looking at it. In all honesty, which brings me to my next question.
Hmm.
Have you how much like flack or how much flack have you gotten? Like, do you have? Of course, everyone has them, but do you have your share of haters?
Sure, of haters. I actually did when I was starting to get some noticing from like, Twitter, like as I'm growing, I get people are like, "Oh, now you're getting fan art review? You're not even worth it." I still remember that DM. It's funny. And I think it wasn't like a whole lot of hatred, but it was like every little flicks every now and then. But nowadays, I'm really not getting any haters now, and it's good. Nowadays, I just get like highs and hello DMs, and oh, I hope you're doing well, and it feels great because you know everyone likes me.
Now that is actually that segues into another question I was gonna ask later, but since you brought it up, um, you like obviously I followed your Twitter, both accounts
Hmm.
for quite a while,
Hmm.
and I'll admit I'm a fan. But I've always wanted to ask you one thing. You
Okay.
have your very friendly DM saying hi, how you doing, and all that kind of stuff. Um, do you how many of the rude and or unsavory DMs do you get? Because if I'm not mistaken, you also have a curious cat.
Oh yeah, I did have a curious cat, but usually when I do curious cat, I always get questions that I really don't want to answer for Twitter or
Mm-hmm.
like for people because it's like no, it's just not worth it.
Because you've drawn your fair share of titty in your years, so
Yeah.
you must have received you must have received schlong at some point in your
Oh
DMs.
God. Oh
Like,
God.
have you
No,
have you experienced
actually,
that?
probably at least once or twice. And but like most of the DMs are love letters. I remember I got like a poem from someone, and I'm like, are you trying to swim me? Like, what is going on?"
What?
I was like, wow, well, I'll give you points. You're trying to swim me with a love poem.
My God, you
Wait,
had it wouldn't be a white knight, I guess. It would just be I guess a quarter kind of thing.
yeah.
Guy trying to court you. But was it close to working? Was it close enough to where you're like, you know what? Maybe. Or would you ever consider that if someone actually like swooped you off your feet on like Discord or Twitter?
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. Like, I didn't even know the guy. At least, like, I don't know. Like, you gotta be like a friend. Gotta have some
Mm-hmm.
coffee with me. If we don't click, we don't click.
Mm-hmm. So the whole long distance like if you did find someone on Twitter or something like that or on Discord of any kind, like that doesn't sit with you?
No, oh, dude, I did long distance before. I can't fucking do it again. I can't. No, I did long distance at least 3 times before. Just does not work, man.
It does not work in
At
your
least for me.
experience.
I had a friend who actually did work out. He ended up moving with her. I said, "Well, bye, have fun," and it worked well. It worked well. But for me, I can't.
So you've only received a couple of schlongs, but most of the time you get love letters like of dudes trying to swoon you,
Or
trying to
just like
court
just
you.
appreciate me, and that's fine. I
Okay.
just I just see it as fan letters or just creepy messages that I delete immediately.
For all remember all of you out there, you send any kind of creepy tweet like you're wanting to see her feet. That's an insta block.
Oh
Insta.
dear God.
Instant. No, you haven't gotten those. Don't tell me you've gotten those.
No, no.
Thank
I
God.
no.
Ugh. All right. So next is what got you on this arting journey? Because if I can quote you on one of your YouTube videos, the Tangled Princess comparison video.
Oh,
You had said that the Rapunzel in the Barbie movie actually inspired you in some way to get where you are now.
yes, I'd be lying if I said that that's not true. Cause I don't know, cause I was like a little girl, but at the same time I was kind of starting out, just sitting there drawing with my crayons and paper, and just I just love the material, like the opening scene for the Barbie where they shows like the materials, like the brushes, paint, whatever. I was mesmerized by it because like it makes me want to like use them, paint, do whatever. Ooh,
Okay.
sorry. And but to answer that question, I've mostly just I've been watching cartoons a lot as a kid. I mean, of course, everyone has, but it made me want to make something. When I was a little kid, I even to this day, ever since I was little, I wanted to make a cartoon show. That was my little kid mindset. Like when I grew up, I wanted to make a cartoon show. So I would draw, I would make little characters, I would practice, and I would just keep on going until like now it's like I'm just drawing whatever. I'm currently um practicing on Toon Boom Harmony to practice animation. I'm still a novice, but I'm gonna get there. Um, but yeah, I just what drives me to this journey of art is just my love for animation, whether it's movies, shows, or just stuff that you've seen on YouTube or like Newgrounds. It makes me happy, and I want to make that to make others happy.
Okay. So you're wanting to go from art, just like flat pieces, to making your own show. Would you take the like, because like in the really big in the news right now is like Vivzy Pop getting Has Been Hotel greenlit for TV.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm really happy for her. I'm really happy because that was almost like my dream or like anyone's dream. Hell, when I learned that I forgot his name, the creator for Villainous, when he
Mm-hmm.
started out just drawing stuff and he did like animation for his website and it just got picked up as a show. I was like, fuck, good for him. Like I'm like I want to be those guys. I want to be like part of what they're doing. And like at first I was envious, but now I'm like, dude, if it's possible, I can do it and it's not too late for me.
And what would your show be like? Do you have any kind of premise for what kind of show you would want to put up?
That that's actually really funny that you say that because I feel like at this point the not genre, but the idea that I had was already similar to, it was compared to like Gravity Falls, it got compared to Villainous, it got compared to like other like super any like show that has to do with kids and some supernatural. And it's like crap. But hey, that's not going to stop me from doing it. Basically, I had this character die or these sets of characters from way back in like high school where it's about um these kids. It's kind of like Gravity Falls where these kids have this book where there's like information like different ghosts, spirits, whatever, and they they just keep writing down what they can find, just basically because their town is within this forest. And one of the antagonists in this show is actually not, I guess you could say, the betrayer, because she seems like human but she's actually a spirit, and she's like after them for like their souls and whatnot, edgy. I still have a lot to like work out the kinks for the show,
Mm-hmm.
but Right now, it's all still in the writing process because I need to proof everything. Because I've been rewriting over and over for about 3 years now. But the characters still stay the same. I just need to work out the story, and I just need to manage time to start because I want to start baby steps by making a comic at least.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because there were. I mean, I can't entirely remember, but I don't think Hazbin Hotel started with a comic because it has an origin
Mm,
comic of before, but I don't.
Um,
I think that was made after the pilot aired.
Vivzi Medrano started off. Well, I'm assuming she started off with a comic called Zoophobia, and I remember reading that back in high school. Hell, I remember I actually made a not a slideshow of her and her artwork, but we had a project in high school where the teacher's like, "Oh, think of what career you want and what people inspire you to have this career." And I remember I put her up there as one of the names, and I had like a slideshow for like the stuff she did, and yeah, it was. She started out with a comic, and then at that point, she started doing animations and whatnot, and it's really good. It's great of how far she's come.
So is it safe to assume that uh, part of the inspiration of where you are now may come from like mutuals or people like Vivzi, like seeing them succeed make you want to keep going?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Because like I had never even heard of Hazbin Hotel until it actually aired, and then as I went deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, it it dawned on me, oh, this has been like a 4 or like almost a 6 year endeavor to make this happen, and it's nuts because I see a lot of people wanting to just follow the same path of working on something hard and eventually letting the public see it and hoping that it gains traction and people can see what their actual views are.
hmm
So, uh, like, do you have I understand like it's still in the writing process, but there's been times for you where you've just been like down in the dumps kind of thing, like about what you do, or is that wrong of me to assume?
I don't quite understand.
Like, okay, so like, for instance, I know a lot of people who try to do things, but whenever they get into the middle, like they're right in the middle of their projects, and they're saying, "Oh, I'm in the middle. This is taking too long already. I might as well just quit where I am."
Oh, there. Yes, you are right. There are times where I have been feeling like I don't know if I can do this, or like or when I'm in a writing process, when I'm typing, like I'm like stuck, and I don't know what to do because like there's a lot of shows out there that already has like the same plot, or like, oh, it works well because you need a good pitch, you need a good story, and I'm just sitting there thinking, what can I do to make it different for everything, or different from any other show? What can I do to impress? And
Hmm.
then it boggles in my head. But um I've been trying to push myself to try something to see what I can do to stir up, to make these characters lovable, to make this story likable. But so far, I honestly can't do it for myself. So every now and then, whenever I have something written, I can always trust my friends to like look it over, see what they think. So really, it's more like you really you really need to work as a team. You could make an idea of yourself, but you can't do it alone when you're making this project.
Right, and because especially and I don't know if I'm gonna keep this in or not, but uh, very, very big example of doing something by yourself that like really shouldn't be done by yourself and refusing to take any kind of criticism. Have you've heard about the Yandere dev kind of like stuff going on recently?
Yes, I have.
So
I don't I don't know if this
yeah.
I don't know if this is a thing that I should actually say on podcast, but like I'm not gonna say I knew the guy, but like
Mhm.
I've talked to him when I was younger in high school, like very few times, but it's really funny because like I was studying harder in senior year because it's important. So
Mhm.
I haven't really not talked to him directly, but I would be in his like private stream where he's playing games, and there's like this old circle of friends,
Mhm.
and it would turn from months into a year where I haven't been on that Yandere simulator fan base craze, whatever.
Mhm.
And the moment I graduated, I'm like, okay, now I have no school, I can like go back. And then I see fire going on around the place. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what happened? What did I miss? And then people are telling me like, oh, he did this, this, and this, and that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, he did that. I just talked to him like a few years ago. And it's crazy that about the news.
Like everything that's going on right now, like it was a lot different back then.
Oh yeah, it was a lot different. If all I can say is if you're working on a game by yourself, please actually work on the game. None of the funny modes or funny junk or Easter eggs.
Yeah, I
Cause and
I
it and I say this wholeheartedly because I did take it's called game design class or gaming
mhm.
concepts class when I was in high school. I did 2 years of it from junior to senior year. And it is not fun when I would stay up till 8 p.m. at the school working on coding because they put me as leader for a 3D game on Unity and Blender, and it was hell. And yeah, that's all I can say. If you're working these for yourself, actually work on the game.
Right, like because I was actually thinking about this as well, like a week ago, something like that. I was wanting to put my own input on what's going on, and in all honesty, like I had known about Yandere Simulator back in 2015, a year after it started development, and
Hmm.
I thought, oh, like in maybe like a year or two, it'll probably be in a good spot to have a demo
Yeah, how
released.
long has it been now? 6 years?
6 years. It has been
Mm. And
6 years.
but what's funny is that nowadays, because now I'm thinking back, thinking the title is Yandere Simulator.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like, there's a lot. I realize there's a lot of quote unquote simulator games that are actually goofy, like Goat Simulator. There's Kitchen Simulator. There's Truck Simulators. All this. They're not exactly serious about the game, and Farming Simulator, of course. And it made me think. I don't know why this game is supposed to be serious when it's got the title genre simulator. I think it's just fine if it was actually goofy and not actually finish it. Because if it is supposed to be something fun, it's supposed to be a sandbox game, then you're done. That's it. That's the game. But if you're looking
Like,
for like a full story, like full like everything, you want
don't
the
make
whole
it a
shebang.
simulator game.
Don't don't even call it under simulator.
Because, like, Dr. Apius,
Ah, yes.
he, the infamous, not infamous really, but the famous, like, the famous expression of, well, if you want it done right, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
I've been keeping up with all that, and I'm thinking, wow, like this is amazing. Like seeing this happen and it's been like maybe a month and a half since he started development, and next thing you know, the first rival is already about to be done, and Senpai in the game, in Love Letter, his Monday routine is already finished. So,
Yeah, and the models look amazing.
yep, Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, we're getting off topic.
Okay, yeah.
So next question for you. Where did I put my
hmm
questions? Right here. So well, you know what? I can ask a question that's not on the list because I wrote down these questions, but
All right.
um, what is what's your take on the um, what is your like experience and view on the NSFW scene on Twitter? Like, as far as it goes with fan interactions or the people that you uh, either work with or collab with, because like
Oh, like
I
the
notice that you collab a lot with I guess you pronounce it uh, Deep Thought or DT.
oh, my friend DT. Yeah,
Yeah.
you mean like the community itself?
Yeah, like what's your experience been, and do you have any views or any opinions on it, like things that you might want to see change or things like that?
Um, all I can say is that it really welcomes me with open arms, and it welcome anyone new who are growing with open arms. They really seem to have each other's back. They really seem to like each other. They support each other. And that's amazing to see.
Mhm.
'Cause from what I experienced this year, unfortunately there are those who are afraid of people being better than others, people who focus on numbers and either get freaked out that they're going lower, freaked out that people are not going to like their style anymore, people who are just indulged with popularity and an ego. And it's like it it's sad, um but at the same time it's already overshadowed with these amazing people in the not safe work community who, that shows that that doesn't matter. It's
Okay.
all about like making mutuals, being friends, probably with the same interests or like each other's art, and it's great.
Did you go into the community with any kind of expectations of this might get a little dicey?
Um, at honestly, at first I didn't. At first, I knew that it was gonna be great. That like, oh, it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be like one of the big guys and whatever. But at like this past, I guess this year has been going fast. I have experienced some things where it gave me a big slap in the face, kind of like you're gonna have to be careful with some people that you talk to.
Mhm.
And And then it's funny because when I started out small, I still am that same person. And it just feels really weird when people now call you like, oh, you're a big artist or this and that. Like they treat you as such. And it just feels really weird, but it kind of feels nice to be noticed. But like you're still you. And
So,
you're always going to treat others the same way. I don't know if
right.
that makes sense.
No, it does. Like, so as far as it goes with, like, obviously getting realized and being told like that you're a big artist, like, and especially the whole be careful who you talk to, um, because this is something I'm gonna be asking a lot of guests on this show.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
of course.
the question is, you being a fairly big influence on uh, in the art community, on the internet in general. You have a fairly large viewing. What's your opinion on what's your view and opinion on those who don't want to uh, who want to get to know you and possibly like befriend you, like you being such a big influencer. Like I would think that people would be asking like, hey, how you doing, and eventually be like, hey, you want to hang out or something, but you don't know them.
Um, I know, yeah. Sometimes I would get DMs like that where people just blatantly like it's nice that some of them say hi, want to like talk to me, and that's fine. I like giving them the time to like for idle chat, but it's sometimes it's just not it's really weird that some people would jump into the whole I want to be friends with you because you know you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're a big time artist, but I like people to like me for me
Not for
and
what you do.
not for what I do. Because at that point, what happened to all my hi? What do you want to be friends when I was almost a nobody, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And um there are friends on Discord who have been with me since I was small, like a small artist, or like people who don't even know at the last second that I was an artist until, they found out about it and they're like, "Oh my God, you draw amazing." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." But yeah, for I don't know. I just like for those people to want that, I I'm sorry, but it's it's not a good thing to do that. It doesn't make the artist feel comfortable, and it's just like what are you doing?
Right, like because I'll admit I've been there before, like wanting to get to know a person who I like really like. I like their content and such. I'm wanting to get to know them, and at one point I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to be your friend because I mean, you're amazing. Like what you do is like, oh, I love it." But um, like, what would you say is a good tip for those who don't want to befriend the person that they see online? They want to befriend the person who's behind that person online. Do you
Oh, okay.
like that? Like that's what
Do
I'm saying.
um I I guess my little secret is that if you're serious about wanting to befriend someone that you legit like, that not just for what they do, but you see them as this fun person, you can see yourself as chatting with them, I'd say if you were serious, you have to like be not in just in their community, but I guess that's a step. You be in their community, you be there, you cheer them on, and then eventually just start talking. You just start talking to not just the person directly, but you have to be in their community. You have to make them think like, hey, there's this guy that's a big fan of mine, and just don't come off as just it's kind of hard to say, but all I can say is just it's a weird staircase up between you and that great person that you want to be friends with. But taking those stairs is being part of that person's community and just engaging with other people who in that community. And then eventually, once that person takes notice of you, treat them like a actual human being. Ask them how their day is, or don't just
Don't
just
treat
treat
them
them
as a
like
god.
treat them as yeah, don't treat them as a god because they're actually not, because those stairs just eventually level down to like a flat floor and you're just both on the same level. You realize that you're both just people and you just happen to like that person because he makes you smile, he makes you laugh, or she has gray hair and you want to compliment, or she does great artwork. Because I know I actually am a huge, huge, huge fan of an artist, but I've never actually talked to her
Hmm.
because I want. Here's the thing: I want to be friends with her, but when I think about it, it's like I think I'd rather just be a fan than try to be friends with her because I don't know. It's weird because like I love her artwork. Hell, her style is what really influences on my style even to this day.
Hmm.
But I never like for the past 6 years, I only been watching her post art, liking them, and I guess I just recently just started like commenting every I don't know every few months. That's not really recent, but
And if we may inquire, who is this mystery artist?
the artist I'm that really influences me to this day is Beck No Kid. Um, she made some really good fan art for Mystery Skulls, for Pokemon, and I just love what I love about her style is that it's like a nice hybrid of cartoony, but also it's got that like I guess anime look. It's kind of similar to mine. Well, I wouldn't say similar to mine. It's more like mine's similar to hers because I love the way she draws expressions, the shading,
Hmm.
and it's amazing. And I'd rather just admire her artwork than talking to her because one, I'm nervous, even though she has, I don't know if she has a big following on Tumblr, but she was one of those people on Tumblr that was like big, big.
Right.
At least to me, she is.
Right. And
But
yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I follow them too.
yeah, and like even if I was friends with her, I'd be like, I have no idea what I even talk about, you know? I don't know where we'd start because I can't find that level. And people tell me, oh, just talk to them, whatever. But it's like, it's not that easy.
So yeah, art. How's art? How's the art going?
How's the art going? What do you
That's
mean? Like,
the no, that's what you would talk about. It was just straight up like,
yeah,
how's
oh,
the art thing going? The
I
art,
mean,
yeah.
there are some interests I can talk about, but it really is all about how you both click. And
Hmm.
if you don't click, then that's just gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because I mean, I agree. It does just take a little bit of time. And
Yeah.
it's baby steps. Because I've befriended a couple of influencers that I very much adore, and they're still some of my best friends up to today. Like it is just baby steps.
Yeah.
Uh, so like for instance with Liz here, I mean I don't know if you want to be friends with her, that's fine. Just don't slide into her DMs being like, "Hey, want to be my friend? I'll give you like $20. Do
Cause
you want to be my friend?"
Um, because I think the real key to connecting with someone, whether they're a big person or not, is that you both gotta click.
Exactly. Like you have to have things in common. Like I mean, and I say things in common like with a grain of salt. I mean, you can't like if you're a huge fan of like oh my god, I need to I like Fortnite. I like this person who plays Fortnite. We have so much in common. Like it doesn't work that way, but I mean, you know.
You
Uh
know, hell,
okay.
if you want to be my friend, you gotta know about Grey's Anatomy. Sign to my DMs. You gotta tolerate. You gotta tolerate me talk about Grey's Anatomy for the next 2 hours and see how that works out.
It's crazy because Grey's Anatomy, like I work at a at a game store,
Uh-huh.
and but we also sell movies and TV shows and such.
Mm-hmm.
And we just got like I think how many seasons did that person bring in?
I think
Like
it's all 16. Wait, all 16 seasons of Grey's Anatomy?
yeah, it was a crap ton of seasons. I believe I saw a 16 on a box set. And it was
Dear
like
Lord.
I was wondering why
I'm
why
barely on season 8. And I just saw on Google News, I don't know if it's real or not, but they said that they're starting season 17 soon. I'm like,
I
you gotta be kidding me.
I've never watched Grey's Anatomy, but I have heard that it's great. It's just right now I am on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So, get on that, Liz.
I never heard of it.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
No,
I'm
no.
sad. You made me sad.
Make me sad that you never seen Grey's Anatomy.
Well, maybe I'll watch like 2 seasons and then come back to you with a like 2 hour synopsis. Uh, s-
Good.
okay, so
Next thing.
next thing, because we're not running out of time per se, but I'm still wanting to make this at max like an hour and 10, so it's not the most giant file ever.
Okay.
Okay, so um, what is it? Okay, so as we've talked about and as it shows on screen, you do have a YouTube and you've grown quite fast if I'm being completely honest. You're
Honestly, it's probably because of Twitter.
I mean
Advertisement just works.
I mean yeah, I can see that. Yes. Because if I'm not mistaken, for your YouTube channel, which is LizieDoodle, you've made a total of about 6 videos. You
Hmm.
and you and the channel originated at the end of last year, and within a year, within the last it's been like 8 months, something like that,
Hmm.
or 7, somewhere around there. You've been able to amass over over a thousand subscribers,
Yeah.
and I do want to commend you on like on your work on the channel. Like it's it's great stuff, I must admit, especially with your review of American Pie and such. Um,
Thank you.
are we
That was probably funny.
are we expected to see more of talking trash like in the future?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Currently, I am doing a new video project for hopefully for I missed Friday. So hopefully this next Friday.
Okay. So you would say that what kind of advice do you have to people who are trying to start off either on YouTube or Twitter with art and or videos? What kind of advice would you give to people who seem to be a little hesitant to do it?
Um as for YouTube, it's
YouTube or art or Twitter or
or,
anything like
or
that.
art or Twitter like that. Okay. Um I'd say if you want to start like hmm to be honest with you, when I was starting out, I had a small group of friends who helped me through it, whether it be for for example, they told me like, yeah, I should probably draw out your icons so it looks more, I wouldn't say professional, but I guess Twitter at this point is like a website where you can find great artists on there, professional artists, whether um they do not safe for work or safe for work. And as for YouTube, they have the banner. You gotta have everything set. You gotta have. you gotta have um a professional like banner, icon, just assets, and you gotta have a plan on what you're gonna post. For me, I even have it all on a sticky note of all the things for talking trash and for like what I want to post. And you just keep a steady schedule, but don't work yourself too hard. You just gotta take some breaks, but you still gotta have like a schedule. You gotta think in the back of your head, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is gonna get done.
Okay.
So just have everything planned out. And as my father actually has told me, you cannot go through life without having three plans.
Now that is something else I wanted to ask. If it's not too personal of a question,
Mhm.
what are your parents supportive of what you've been able to amass, like with Twitter and your job and such,
Um,
like
it's
your
a
art
funny,
journey?
it's a funny story. I actually have tried to convince my dad that I want to do art. I want to draw ever since I was like young. And because um my father wanted me to work for the police force for a while because of my uncles.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad was, I guess, different from his brothers because he actually throughout his years he was actually a musician. So he was in a group band, he was singer. He would go to like clubs or whatever, and then when he had me, he retired. And he became a mechanic, and then after that he became a nurse, and then um he retired at that point. He's currently not with me. He is currently in Mexico, but every day he still supports me after I finally convinced him that I want to do art. So every time I post my art, he would repost them on Facebook.
On
So,
your
and
on your LizieDoodle account, right?
actually, I have a Facebook just for the sake of my dad has no idea much about media.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because, he's no man, but so that's why every now and then my dad would call me asking. It's actually happened too. My dad called me and he's like, "Why are you not posting a lot of your art?" And I said, "I have." And then, or before I said that, I realized I've been drawing a lot of porn that week, and I was like, "I didn't have the motivation, Dad, but I'll post them sometime later." And I did, just for the sake of it. So my dad supports that I do art in general, but I'm not sure how he feel about me doing Nazi for it. But
Does he
regardless,
does he know about your NSFW content?
no, I believe not.
Oh,
uh, oh
oh.
boy.
Well, I'm
But
not gonna tell him.
but yeah, whether he does find out or not, either way, I think he'll just be supportive that I just draw and you know
Mm-hmm.
that I do something.
Okay.
And he's happy that I'm working at the art studio, so he also supports that I'm doing it as a living.
Right, because there's a lot of parents out there who, with kids who want to be artists, they usually think, oh, it's not a real industry of work. You need to work with your hands and get moving, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So like,
I've been told stuff like that, and I've been told, oh God, it was horrible. I've been told I should do plumbing and or I should be an electrician. And I'm like,
plumbing,
why?
gross.
Why? That's like the worst thing that you have to come up with. Why plumbing? I mean, sure, I guess it makes money because plumbing is so a common thing that people need, but are you kidding me? Like, am I really? I mean, I wouldn't say give. I was gonna say I'm not gonna give up. my art career just for fucking plumbing, and they said like, "Oh, you could just do it as like a side thing." I'm like, "No, no, screw you, no, just no."
Ah, yes, my side gig. On my main gig, I'm usually in a nice air-conditioned
Do you have
room.
any idea how bad that would sound? Yeah, I do. I make content. I draw art. I'm a Twitch streamer. Oh, by the way, I also do plumbing on
So,
the side.
you got a toilet that needs a helping. I'm your girl.
I'm your girl,
Uh,
LizieDoodle's plumbing.
hey, you could draw your own logo and everything. It'd be
Hell
great.
yeah.
Oh man, plumbing. I mean, kudos to all those who are plumbers out there, but man, you're in a shitty line of work.
Oh, you know, if you're a
Hey.
plumber, you need some stuff to make your sales look good. I'm your girl to draw some plumbing stuff.
All right, so we are running low on time, so I'm just gonna
All right.
ask like a couple more questions to you,
Okay.
and we can wrap this up. So,
All right.
um, where do you see yourself in like 5 years from now? Do you see yourself moving on to a different career, or do you see yourself doing this art career? Like, do you see yourself in a higher position in 5 years from now, in 2025?
Oh, I definitely see myself in a higher position. I would love to see myself not only just going to like conventions, but also maybe even like sell my art there, or like doing better in like Twitch, have a bigger following, and not only that, but also help my boss at the art studio have like a better studio, have an art gallery, and just have people around the city, and not just the city, but like everywhere ordering our stuff. Because I'm not doing it just for me, but I also want to do it for the art studio.
Right. So like you're wanting to support both yourself, your
Yes,
career,
it's
and your the people who have gotten you there so far.
yeah. I love the art studio. I love my boss, and I it's something that I really want to do, and I could see myself being committed to it.
That is very awesome. I'm very happy to hear it. Glad to hear that you're going to be in the art genre, in the art kind of landscape for years to come, and I can't wait to see how much you improve and where and all the places that you'll go.
Thank you.
So, what do you say to the potential lover boys out there? Those wanting to those wanting
Oh
to
dear God.
get them a piece of Lizzie. Like what do you say to all the lover boys out there?
Find someone else. I'm not worth it.
Now, they may be a little upset to hear that. I mean, come on. You're not even
Uh,
gonna give them a little shred of doubt, a little shred of dignity.
mm, let's
L-
see.
Liz,
Y-
I'm sorry to tell you now, you have simps. You know you do. Okay, you
I
know
know I
you have
do.
simps.
I do. Don't worry. I like to take advantage of this and have a Dr. Pepper army of my own. Thank you.
That's right. I was gonna ask about that.
Oh yeah, my
What's
love
with
for
Dr.
Dr.
Pepper?
Pepper.
Yeah, what's with Dr. Pepper?
Um, I loved it for years, and I just want to make it a thing. But
Cause,
if I ever get a what's it called, a cease and desist, then I am well, it's over.
cause you're cause you have a Dr. Pepper like uh Emperor kind of Sona going on,
Yeah,
or I guess Commander.
Commander Lizzie.
So if you do end up getting a cease and desist, you'll just stop immediately. You're not even
I
gonna
have to.
fight not even gonna fight for it.
Uh, I mean, that's why I actually do have an alternative like sticker that says Dr. Prep. So it's not technically it's like a copyright thing, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But anywhere else, it's just Dr. Pepper just for funsies. I'm not really advertising anything. I just I just like to drink. It's not a meme. It's not anything. I just really like it.
Okay. All right. And so now, I guess it comes down to one of the last questions, or one of the last like two questions I had for you.
Okay.
I know I said two before, but the last two were for funsies, so bear with
Okay.
me. Um. So, if there was one thing you could have done besides art, like if art wasn't going to work out at any point, do you have a plan B, or like what would you have done if it weren't for art?
If it weren't for art, that's a good question. Art's only the only thing I've been able to do, but um I'm not quite sure. There like honestly, if I um hmm, it's actually really hard to tell because all I remember is that what I did other than art, I honestly would have just been stuck as being a waitress at a shitty pancake house.
Ooh.
And yeah, and that did happen at one point, and it just sucked, dude.
I mean, it happens to the best of us. We start off with those shitty jobs until we get the one that we want.
Yeah,
Only mine was at a McDonald's, so
yeah,
a
and
little worse.
hmm but
Hmm.
you know, it's funny. I was supposed to do this, but the pandemic came by.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I noticed that my art was taking up a lot of like it was becoming more work than a hobby. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought to myself, I need to get an actual hobby. So I started taking up on birding or bird watching. So I've been just kind of watching documentaries on birds and reading stuff and have this application on my phone called I think it's called eBird where it just like identifies birds for you when you go outside and stuff. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna do that this year.
Can we get a poll out there for Bird Lizzie? Just
Bird Lizzie.
Lizzie as a bird. Uh, yeah. All right. Would there be? I think that's all the time we have. Is there anything that you wanna like? Because again, everything that Lizzie has, in terms of media, social media, anything like that, will be in the description below. Is there anything else that you wanna say and or plug whilst the video's ending?
um, no, other than thank you everyone for tolerating me and my slow talking or like just trying to figure out words because I'm not the best at words, unfortunately.
Nah, you're fine. I There was hardly any like stuttering with you like that. Like you were fine.
All right, that's good.
Well, if that's it, then all right. Thank you so much, Lizzie, for being here. It was a real honor having you be the first guest on the show.
Thank you. I'm very pleasured to be here.
And for all of you out there, be sure to watch out for my next episode of Naughty Lines, where I will be speaking to another special guest. I'm not sure which, but I will be sure to update you on Twitter. I'm hoping that it's going to be yet another artist that I followed for quite a while, but who knows? We'll see. But either way, thank you guys for joining me and Lizzie for this very first episode of Naughty Lines, and we will be seeing you another time. Peace out.